Thank you everyone for being here today. My name is Megan Dovick and I am the director of our Professional Science Master's program. And today is our virtual information session. So we are going to go over what a Professional Science Master's is, specifically our programs here at the University of Utah and the process from getting to know what it is to how to apply and what to expect. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I am joined today with our other team members of our Professional Science Master's program. Like I said, my name was Megan, and I am joined with Alexandra Rivas and Michelle Moy. Do you guys want to introduce and just say hi to hi yourselves?
Sure. Hello. As Megan said, my name is Alexandra Rivas. I'm the Associate Director and I'm also instructor for the program. I'm in charge of all the business area and all the project area as well. So I'll be happy to, if you get into the project, to join you in this journey. Michelle.
I'm Michelle. I'm the program coordinator. You are here because you got an invitation from me, most likely. I'm a great first stop for all the questions. Not only do I have access to all the information, I'm a grad of the program in the environmental science track.
All right, thank you, team. Okay, let's move on. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, what is a professional science master's? Um, if you haven't already been to our website, psm.utah.edu, it will go through this. A professional science master's is a program that combines advanced STEM coursework with essential business and transferable skills. Why is this important? We know that the workforce demands, employer demands, industry demands want advanced STEM students, but not only to bring the advanced knowledge, but they want them to be able to be project managers, leaders, collaborators, people who can manage teams or work collaboratively in teams. And to have that requires this transferable skills, soft skills, resilient skills, durable skills. These are things that would include critical thinking, problem solving, project management, communication, finance understanding, any of those kind of business-like esque or adjacent skills in addition to your science and technical skills. So having the combination of two is really at the crux of what a PSM program is. And when we take this all together, that is what really, that you're fine, Michelle. That's what really helps to create these really innovators and leaders in our STEM sectors. And specifically, what is it about our program here at the University of Utah that really draw in students, really draw in people and applicants? They really love the interdisciplinary approach. So not only will you be able to take, if you're looking into our environmental science program, looking to take urban ecology, atmospheric climate understanding, energy choices, you're also going to be able to take, like I said, things like project operations and management, business development, perhaps a policy course. So really an interdisciplinary. And at the end of it, our students, our alumni, fondly call this program their STEM BA. It's a STEM, Masters of Science, first and foremost, and it gives you just enough of that working business knowledge for you to be able to have those conversations with the CEO, your supervisor, manager, project managers, to be able to have that conversation and to carry value in those conversations. Why people choose our program? We are flexible. You can go full-time or part-time. You can start off full, and then if you have a heavy workload coming up the next semester, drop down to a part-time. We work with you on that and help to advise what is best for you. This is also a non-thesis program, meaning that we don't go through a traditional research path. If you are looking for a research academic path, this is likely not the program for you. Instead of a thesis, we have what's called our professional experience project. And Allie's going to talk about that in a little bit later, so I'll leave that for her. Why people choose our program? There's opportunities for stackable credentials. You can earn not only your master's degree, but certificates, graduate certificates that are workforce aligned along the way. And Michelle will mention that in a few minutes. One thing that we're very proud of within our program is we, from day one, help to set the tone of that this is a career-focused program. We make you guys go deep into job search analysis, help to set an academic plan that meets both that academic inquiry, but also helps to meet your professional goals. So where would you like to end up after this program? How do we get there? Uh, One of our former alums, he will come in and he'll talk. And what I love and I always repeat is he says that this program is not the destination. It is only the vehicle to get you where you need to be. And we really take that to heart here and we focus on that right away. And of course, it's a really great value. We say in general, for domestic in-state students, this program will probably cost you around $30,000. If you were to go and get a straight MBA, even at the University of Utah, you're looking at between 70 and 90,000. So we like to think that this is a really good value for your investment in yourself and in your future career. Thank you. Okay. It's an alternative way to a master's. Like I said, you don't have to go full time. So with that, it usually takes our students anywhere from 2 to 4 years, depending on if they go full time or they go down to part time. We like to say that we like to promote academic ownership. So if you have a very specific professional outcome, we try to tailor your coursework as much as we can to really help you get there. And I already mentioned that we really double down on professional development, career alignment, and the professional experience project is what really draws a lot of students here too, is because you have the opportunity to do your final project experience as part of this program with industry partnerships and opportunities. We have 4 degree programs within the Professional Science Master's program here at the U. Environmental Science, Computational Data Science, Earth Resource Management, and Biotechnology. And within each of those degrees, we have students focus in on very specific areas or sometimes more general. But for instance, in environmental science, we have students that focus on hydrology or air quality, sustainability, or GIS. And that academic ownership is where this really comes into play, where you can choose the classes that will help get you the complete skill set that you need in GIS or to be a professional hydrologist working for a state or federal agency. Computational and data science. One of our very it's gaining more momentum tracks and focus is our deep learning and AI track and focus. We work collaboratively with our School of Computing, where we align our program for those interested in deep learning and AI with a graduate certificate within that school. Biotech, often we have students focus in on genetics, immunology, or bioanalytic chemistry. And then earth resource manage, thinking about perhaps mining methods, a career in mining or mining permitting and reclamation. And finally, again, we not only focus or double down on professional career alignment, we do really advocate for a cohort philosophy. What this means is that you will have touch points with the people that you come in with all throughout your first couple years, or 1, 2, 3, 4 semesters for fall, spring, summer, fall, and then often spring again through the way that we've structured our coursework. Your cohort will not just be those within that 1 degree program, so just biotech students. It will be with all those students from all 4 of those programs. We have found that this has created immense value, perspective, and understanding by bringing in other people's STEM strengths into a course that may not be STEM focused, for instance, in business operations and management. Having a data scientist, an environmental scientist, and a biotech student all within a working group within that course brings a lot of different perspectives and opportunities to better understand each other's fields and what they bring to the table. Okay, I'll go on from there. And just this does not, I would say, not even scratch the surface, but here's where some of our current students in the last 2 years currently work. So you can see that we have students all over the place, from finance to government, state, federal, biotech, startups, bigger companies like bioMérieux, military or DOE energy type supported organizations, environmental consulting, uh, bigger organizations like Coca-Cola. We have students or alumni in our health sectors as well. So they're all over the place. And we're actually very, very proud of that. Our students can complete this program and enter the workforce in such an array of different sectors. And just so that we can get a little bit better understanding of how you first heard about this program, we would love for you just to, you know, very quickly, you should see a poll that just popped up on your screen, or if you have a dual screen, it might be off to the side. Go ahead and take just the next maybe 30 seconds to read through these first two questions. We would love to hear about how you heard about us. So that first question is, how did you learn about this program? We have a lot of different ways. This just better helps us to inform how you guys are hearing about us. So in front of you, you can click on those answers. And then the second question is, what program are you interested in? What of those degree tracks would you most likely want to apply for? And then Michelle, I can't see it from mine, but maybe just give it another 5 or 10 seconds and then we can submit. And can you share that poll?
All right, so it looks like most of you found out about the program through an online search or the university website. In fact, everybody's in those two categories. We've got 5 people interested in biotechnology, 3 in computational and data science, 1 who chose earth resource management, and 2 interested in environmental science with us. Welcome. Let's talk about application requirements. I'm the person, like I said, who, oh, sorry, yeah, someone readjusting. I'm the person who a lot of you will talk to if you have questions about your application or want to learn more. So first of all, you've got to have a relevant undergraduate education. If you studied something in the humanities and you've never taken math and you've never taken chemistry and you've never taken physics, this is not going to be the right program for you. You can't just pivot into this program from other fields unless you do a lot of getting up to speed work. So we generally say it's got to be a STEM bachelor's degree, or you took a lot of those STEM classes as an undergrad. A minimum 3.0 GPA, that is a standard set by the university. We get one exception to that per year. If you're pretty close to a 3.0 GPA and you want to know about your chance of admission, you can email me and we can talk about that. We require 3 letters of recommendation. A lot of our students come to us not directly from undergrad, but after a couple of years of work experience. And we absolutely love to see that. We find our students who do have some professional experience in their background really thrive in the program. Some of the classes like operations management, it doesn't make as much sense to you why you need to take that if you're coming straight from undergrad, whereas after a couple of years of work, it really clicks into place and it becomes super valuable information. That's not to say we won't take you straight out of undergrad, but if you are in that situation where you've been out of school for a couple of years, we're absolutely welcoming of letters of recommendation from a manager or someone you know in a professional capacity. We love to see a mix of academic and professional sources for that. A relevant personal statement is a big one. And when I say relevant, I mean if your personal statement is saying, I can't wait to work in a lab, do academic research, go on to a PhD, we're going to know that this program is not going to be a perfect fit for you and that you don't fully understand what the program is. And we're going to be very hesitant to admit you because we want to make sure that you're coming in with a full understanding of where you are. We don't want anyone spending tens of thousands of dollars in tuition money for a program that's not what they want. So we like to see a personal statement that reflects that you know about what our program is, what makes it a professional program as compared to a regular academic master's degree. We love to see some professional direction in that. Take that as an opportunity to tell us a little bit about yourself. The GRE is absolutely optional. It's not going to hurt your chances of getting in at all if you don't take the GRE. No pressure there. If you want to include GRE test scores, if you took it and you aced that sucker, we're absolutely happy to see the test scores, but it's not going to hurt you if you don't. For many of our applicants this year, we are doing an informal interview. It's not for all of them. If you don't get asked for an interview, that doesn't mean that we hate you or anything. If you do get asked, it just means that we're looking for a little more information. And it's something new we're trying this year, especially in the era of large language models writing people's letters. We like to get a better sense of people than a personal statement that may have been written by ChatGPT. And then there are, of course, additional requirements for international applicants. Those are going to vary based on country of origin. Please check with the International Admissions Office for that. I am not going to have a good bank of information on what is required for people from, multiple dozens of countries that we get applications from. So definitely go straight to the experts for that. I believe that in the chat, we just dropped, the International Student Office website. So you can go there for more information. Application deadlines. April 1st is the regular deadline. But we do continue to accept late applications after that. The university just did away with a late application fee. So the only harm in applying after April 1st is that maybe the program will fill up. It doesn't happen every year. It always just kind of depends on economic climate and job prospects out there, how many applicants we get in a year. But the later you wait, the less chances you'll have for advising, getting up to speed. If you might need to take an extra class during the summer to get ready as a prerequisite, you won't have that chance if you wait too long. So we encourage you to get your applications in as soon as possible. But technically, if the program's not full, we can take applications up to July 1st. For questions about tuition, if you go and Google like University of Utah tuition estimator, you'll get this website. It's not perfect, but you can say if you're a resident or international or non-resident, graduate, undergraduate, you can pick the classes. Because our program's really interdisciplinary, you have the option to take a course, one of your transferable skills, which is like a non-STEM course, might be water law from the law school. That class is going to be more expensive. So with this, you can actually put which classes you plan to take into your schedule and see how it changes how much tuition you owe. That said, it is an estimate, and we have found that with some classes, it gives an inaccurate number. So don't take it as gospel. Be prepared for surprises. We want to be very upfront with people. Our program, because you're not doing academic research, our students do not get TA positions or assistantships through the program. You can still apply for federal student loans if you are a U.S. resident or green card holder, but you cannot, we don't offer scholarships through our program. We don't offer assistantships. So if you are sitting in this and you're realizing that this program is not the one for you, we're not going to be offended if you jump out. We don't want to waste your time. We get a lot of questions sometimes at the end of this, like, how do I meet the professor I'll be working with? How do I make sure I've got all of my funding lined up? This isn't that kind of program. A lot of our program, a lot of the students in our program are part-time and working, and their employers are contributing to their tuition costs. So no offense if you're like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was, and you want to jump out. But we're so happy to have you if you still want to stick around. There is also the option if you are out of state, but you come from one of these Western states, including Alaska, Hawaii, and Guam and the Northern Mariana Islands. These Western states, we get a few seats available each year for reduced tuition. If you have questions about that, if you fall into that category, let me know. I will say also, residency qualifications for in-state residency they vary from state to state. So maybe you went to school in Vermont or New York and you lived there for a couple of months and then you got in-state tuition. It's trickier at the U. So if you're an out-of-state student, make sure you understand the U of U's residency requirements. Once you're admitted to the program, if you're admitted as a non-resident, it's almost impossible to change that without actually dropping out of the program and reapplying, which is a huge pain. If you have questions about that, you can email me. Okay, program requirements. I'm going to skip straight to the bottom. It's 36 credits total. If you're thinking, wait, 36 divided by 4 semesters in 2 years, that's only 9 credits a semester, you are correct. 9 credits a semester is full-time as a grad student. Half of your classes have to be graduate level STEM, half your credits. So a minimum of 18 credits will be graduate level STEM. You've got transferable or business skills type classes. A minimum of 12 credits come from that category. And then your professional experience project is going to be generally 3 credits that you take while you're working on that project. Allie's going to tell us now more about the professional experience project.
Thank you, Michelle. So the professional experience project is a very nice thing because you get real life experience because you're working with a sponsor that is giving you a real life problem that you are going to solve with the skills that you learn through the program. So in the 6974 planning course, you start planning what are you going to work on. You start putting yourself out there, getting a project, selling yourself is like getting a job. So you get all the experience of putting yourself out there and be kind of the own entrepreneur of yourself in getting a project. Then you start planning the project. What are you going to do? What is the solution that you envision for the problem that the sponsor has? And you really implement the solution during the project course, the 6975. And it's a class that you have to take, you have to work on like 150, 250 hours, the total of the project that you're going to work. And this has to have one STEM component and one non-STEM component, can be business component, can be other thing. So it is putting the best of the worlds, all the STEM that you have learned and all the transferable skills that you have learned and giving it to the industry, to your sponsor, and helping him or her to solve a problem. And you, after that you solve a problem, you submit a report of what you did, and you submit the outcome of what happened with that project, and do a professional presentation. That presentation can be done either in different ways. We now have 3 pathways. We have the traditional 40-minute presentation with a committee. You have to search a committee that is faculty from the university, search somebody that is tenured and who can be kind of your mentor when you're doing this project, and help you guide in everything that you are going to need through the process. Then you present these solutions to the sponsor and to your committee, and you get approved for the project. Another pathway is that You do a poster session and a 5-minute lightning presentation where you present to a broader audience, and you give like your presentation 5-minute kind of Shark Tank presentation, and it's another pathway that we are implementing now. And there's another one that is specific for computational data science students that if you want to have also the deep learning certificate, you use that path, take those courses, and you can follow the capstone project with them that they have also industry working with them, and you create you work in a team with that project and you present your results in a formal presentation, also like a 5-minute lightning presentation, and you can do a demo of what you coded, what you work for that project. Am I doing that? I can do that. So we want to invite you to our PSM Summit. This is the very first summit that we are doing. It's called Innovation in Action. It's the following April 15. You can go to our website in the part of events, and there is the agenda and everything. It's going to be a day-long event that has like the best of industry, and we will have panels talking about what is trendy in the industry, what are the future for our students, and what is happening. And we also have our students presenting their final projects and what they did for each sponsor. Okay, here are the first year courses for the fall semester. If you are going to take 9 credits, you can take the 6200 professional development credit. This is the favorite class for most all of our students. We meet Tuesdays from 6 to 9 in the Gardner Commons building. It's in person, complete, and you get all the skills that you need to put yourself out there, to do presentations, to manage meetings, and it's a class that has been very, very well evaluated. You also take the 6600, that is Applied Statistic Techniques. This is hybrid, and it's Saturdays from 9 to 12. The professor actually is our former director. He went back to industry, but still is engaged in our program with this class, and he's also often one of the committees members for students. And this class is very helpful for students to be able to show all their data in graphic imaging and all the data visualization that they need for their project. So they're frequently using this class a lot. And then you can choose one STEM course between 2 and 4 credits. This is for full-time students. If you're going to be part-time, you take only 2 classes, but you can take this other STEM class and keep advancing on your career. Do I have to take the professional development class? We get this question from many students, especially the ones that are like older and that they say that they have a lot of experience. So we have a testimonial here. This class helped me get a job, figure out my career aspirations, and facilitate me to figure out my next steps, both in graduate school and in my professional life. I feel that this class helped me grow as a person. It was my favorite class this whole semester. This is a real testimonial, and it is very rewarding to get these comments because our students really, really get a lot from this class. There was another student that said, like, I did not know I needed this course. I didn't want to take it, but I really needed. This was really the class that I needed. If you're going to first year courses for the spring semester, students take the 6210 operational project management, Wednesday 6 to 9 generally. Sometimes it moves from day. And this is a class that Megan told that, or Michelle said that students, when they have experiences, when they can understand better how this class works, our professor is the CEO in one big company that I forget the name, but he's a very experienced instructor. Then you take one STEM course that from 2 and 4 credits that you choose. The nice thing about our program is that you can choose your learning path. You can see what is it that you want to learn. And from the classes that we have, you can choose, we have many, many options. You can choose what you want to study. And if the class that you're interested in is not in our current list, you can apply if we would accept it. And generally we do. Also, you can start getting another STEM class or transferable skill, and you can start with the 6974 project planning. So at least start thinking about it. We are implementing this class next year as a non-credit class, and you can start it when you feel ready, or you can start scouting projects that you can see people that you know, expanding your network and looking out what you need to get a project from the following semester to be ready at the end of your program. Next slide, please. Okay, the first year summer semester, you will take 61,000, the business development class. Generally, this is Wednesday from 6 to 9 in person. And this class gives you all the, like, dip your toes in all the business topics that are useful in the industry. When you are out there in a job, what you have to deal with that you have never seen in STEM classes. So for example, marketing, human resources, hiring people, firing people, finance, accounting, doing budgets, doing forecasts. So all the things that you will have to deal sometime in your life, you get a deep over here in this class. And this, in the summer, the classes are 12 weeks long. And also for the ones in environmental science is the 6963, the environmental field methods and analysis. Oh, by the way, I teach the business development class and Megan teach the environmental field methods and analysis. This is generally Tuesdays from 6 to 9. You have to attend a professional 3-day conference, and you have 3 Fridays field days in June for Nature Conservancy. And students really enjoy this class because it's very hands-on and get a lot from it. And some students have even get their projects from after this class. Next slide. Okay, if you go for the second year courses for the fall semester, there you're going to take our 6500 scientific reasoning. This class is taught by a PhD that has a lot of experience in philosophy. Our instructor is really knowledgeable, and you can get a lot from this class, ethics, and all the needed things that you have to deal with when you are facing real life problems. Then you take a STEM class or transferable skill, and you can also take your 6974 also in the fall semester. So this class is kind of open. You can start taking it, and you can take as long as you need until you get your project planned. Second year courses in the spring semester. If you are ready to take your 6975 project implementation, you finish your 6974, the planning, so you're ready to implement, you take this class, you're working on your project, and you work on the report and presentation, professional presentation that you're going to do. You also take a STEM class or transferable skill, or 1 or 2, depending on how you're taking, how many credits you need.
We talked a little bit about graduate certificates. These are things that we can add to our degree. So if you are a computational and data science student who's interested in deep learning and AI, there's a graduate certificate that you can earn at the same time that requires no extra classes. That pathway also has a capstone that you can use as your final project. Ali mentioned briefly. In that capstone, you're actually working with a local business in the AI field. You've got expertise there kind of helping you along the way. Some courses have embedded certifications. I am blanking out on the name of the certification that comes with operations management. What is it?
Every student that completes our project operations and management course will become Six Sigma certified. This is an industry recognized certification that it just gives you a tool in your tool belt when you leave our program.
Yes, there are also some non-credit professional development opportunities. And then a lot of practical and experiential learning. We try really hard for the classes that we teach to partner with local industry or government agencies or nonprofits. Ali mentioned the field methods class. In that class, you're working directly with the Nature Conservancy on a wetland project. You're also working directly with the Department of, or with the Utah Geologic Survey and the head of, well, a partner of one of the local environmental consultant companies comes out for a couple of lessons and works with students there. So we try really hard to make sure that you're getting experiences and building a network that is going to be useful to you in the classes that we teach. So what can you be doing now to prepare? I did see a couple of questions in the chat about how can I know if I have the right prerequisites if I don't have the kind of classic background. You can email me about prerequisite courses. Maybe in some cases, a student's going to have to plan to apply a year from now instead as they kind of build up some of those classes. So there might be prerequisite classes to get ready, or maybe you just want to like brush up some skills with a boot camp. If you've never had any experience to coding whatsoever, maybe just do, you know, like a 6-hour coding in R class online before your first fall semester, because that data analysis class that all of our students take their first semester is in R. And even though it doesn't assume any background, if you have no coding background, it will help you to just kind of get up to speed a little bit on things like that. Or if you're going to take a graduate level GIS class, maybe find a boot camp online that will help you brush up on your GIS skills first. If you are working in the Salt Lake area and your employer offers tuition benefits, like covers part of your tuition, make sure that you're talking with your employer about that. You might also need to work out issues around your work schedule. Our classes through our program are generally like the MST courses that you take with your cohort are generally going to be offered in the evening to accommodate working students' schedules. But for the most part, your classes, these STEM classes taught by other departments on campus are going to be offered only during the day. So if you're working full time, you're going to need to talk to your employer about like, hey, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to have to take off a couple hours to go hit this class or something. You might think about doing some job exploration. If you are, I mean, I assume everybody is thinking about a master's to open new pathways in their career futures. If that is the case, it's always a good idea to start just looking at what kind of jobs you hope to have. Is a master's going to be the right thing to get you there? What classes do you want to start focusing in on? That's a great thing. We do that as part of the professional development course, but never too early to start doing that. And then also connect with us. You can make a meeting with me. The emails you get from me have a little link in the signature that say book a time to meet. If you have a problem with that link, I know sometimes it's a little fussy, just email me directly. Always happy to take time. Follow us on LinkedIn, sometimes Instagram. We post what events are coming up every now and then that our students might be going to, like local conferences or summits on campus. And then start applying. If you are thinking about getting an application in, it's never too early to ask for those letters of support. Sometimes those take a minute to come on in, start gathering your transcripts and working on your essay. These are those dates I mentioned again. We're past the priority deadline. April 1st is right around the corner if you're trying to get in before that regular deadline, but we do take those late applications if the program doesn't fill up all the way up through July 1st. Classes will begin on August 18th. So at this point, if you guys have questions, we would love to hear from you.
Thank you, Michelle and Allie. So that concludes our overview of the program and trying to kind of head off some of our most frequently asked questions. I will comment on the idea of the prerequisites and even the boot camps. So when we go to review applications, one of our main criteria that we're really looking for is we have to assess whether or not we feel that this student would be successful in our program. According to graduate school policies, you have to graduate with a cumulative 3.0 GPA in our graduate program. So we really are looking critically at the applicant and to say, would the student be able to walk into a graduate level course in their field that they want to pursue, and would they be successful? The only way that we can really know that, unfortunately, is oftentimes through those um, past coursework, so your transcripts and current, maybe non-matriculated courses that you're recently taking to kind of beef up on those prereqs. We do have students often say, hey, I'm pivoting from one field and I want to go into data science, but look, I've taken all of these Google certifications. Time and time again, we want to so bad use that as like, yes, this is evidence. Um, our faculty that helps to review our computational data science, they are very hesitant to say with just, outside certifications that they would be able to be successful in those U of U graduate courses. Um, Anything, Michelle, do you want to add anything to that? What am I missing in the importance of prereqs or
Yeah,
getting
I mean, I'm
you?
looking through the questions about prerequisites, and some of it is just, we'd probably have to have a follow-up conversation. If you're interested in computational and data science and you've emailed me, I've mentioned calculus 1 through 3 and linear algebra are pretty non-negotiable. If you haven't got that math background, we have not seen success for people in graduate level, data science classes. You're going to need some background in programming, probably web development. There are some getting up to speed classes that you can take, and a few classes are even up 5,000 level, so you could take them your first semester and they would count toward the program, but
Mhm.
only if you've already got that math, which is all going to be undergraduate level. So if you have questions about prerequisites, I'm happy to talk. If you're in environmental science, I will say one thing we look for. I went through that program, and environmental sciences is broad. If you want to focus in on GIS, maybe you can do that without having taken chemistry. But we do not generally admit people who don't have a chemistry background. It's so vital in environmental science. Like when I say chemistry background, I mean if you've never taken a college level chemistry class, it's going to be hard. All of our students have to take a lot of quantitative classes, well, at least 2 quantitative classes, and often far more than that. So you've got to have a decent background. Many, many classes are going to have prerequisites of chemistry and calculus. So if you don't have that, we don't want to set anyone up for failure. And we do have students who've come to us and said, no, look, I did these online boot camps. I'm super smart. I've got these great letters. And then we admit them without a classic background, and they struggle a lot. So we're careful because we get really attached to our students and we care about your success, and we do not want to set people up for failure and have them drop out, and everybody is sad about that in the end. So definitely email me your specific questions about program readiness and prerequisites. But I will say professional experience can be great if you're looking at doing computational and data science and you do not have a CS background necessarily, but you do have a GitHub page that shows your programming skills. Absolutely, that's super valuable because there are definitely people who are very self-taught in programming.
Mhm.
We have some questions from the chat, and I would say for Matthew McCarty to make an appointment with Michelle to work that like more personalized. And we have some of Andrew. He asked, are there any concerns with changes to the program with the ongoing changes in the Department of Education? Megan, I think you're most qualified to answer that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Andrew, I see your questions right there in the chat. Yes, every week I feel like I am getting a new update on the political environment and how is it evolving. I attend almost weekly town hall meetings at our university to be the most up to speed on that. And there are ongoing changes in the Department of Education. Um, what that might affect, and I cannot speak to it with certainty as things change every day, um, that might affect a different process in federal student loans. But again, I can't speak with certainty, and I haven't heard anything different right now. Fortunately,
Another thing to consider with all these changes is funding for research. because our program doesn't require we don't depend on research for funding. We're pretty immune and insulated from that situation. I was just talking to a student yesterday who had been accepted to a couple different programs, including ours, and then found out that funding was getting yanked from every project that she had hoped to work on. And so she was like, yeah, it's an easy choice right now with the chaos in graduate education where research is concerned.
That's actually, Michelle, you're just hitting it right on the head there, where I was going to follow up with, like, our program is actually in a way well positioned because we don't rely on soft funds. So we don't rely on funding to support our program. So our program is pretty safe in the aspect that, like, we will not shut our doors. We will not be affected in that same way. Um, our program is also very workforce aligned, and that is a very high priority for even the state of Utah. So, where we may not have soft money to support TAGA RAs, our program itself is very, I would say, in a position that is going to have a lot of resiliency. Um,
Good
Acceptance rate.
question.
We have acceptance rates. I see the follow-up there. Acceptance rate of the program. Michelle, do you have this off the top of your head?
What I
Our
will say is if
Mhm.
you meet the program requirements, we are happy to have you. We're not turning away super qualified. You know, if you are like, I have a 3.6 GPA and the perfect undergraduate degree, and nobody hated me in my letters that they sent in, we're gonna take you. We don't I don't have the acceptance rate off the top of my head, but
I
it
remember
generally
it
is
was
people who are applying.
76%.
Mm, I think that's a I think that's a little it really is dependent, and we're seeing different trends right now too. To Michelle's point, if let me put it this way. Sometimes we get a big batch of applicants and they're just not ready for this program. And so that messes with our acceptance rate. But to Michelle's point, we have not reached our capacity of how many people that we can handle in our cohort this year. And so again, if you're qualified, if you meet our review standards, that 3.0, that STEM background in a relevant field, if you bring professional experience, that's usually our golden applicant right there. I will say that we do look at it holistically, and there is a review committee. So where we're just giving you our notes of what we generally accept. Know that there is an outside committee that also reviews, that are subject matter experts that weigh in on every single applicant. If it is um, a question of, like, could it go one way or the other, that's when we will reach out and we'll be like, hey, we want to make sure that either one, this is the right fit for you, or two, we weren't quite sure on this. We see that you might be a little weak in this area. Can you help us better understand? And that's Michelle is really on that. She really takes care of the perspective to first year enrollment students. So this is where her specialty really lies. And then I just want to keep going with the percentage of students that find jobs within 6 months of graduation. Um, I will say that we actually have a very high employment post this program. And I also want to put a huge caveat on that. Roughly half or more of our students are already coming in as working professionals. So I don't want to overinflate that we have a great placement post or employment rate post this program, because a lot of our students are already working at an entry level or within a sector, and they're coming to either get promotion within their company, leverage it to go to a different company, or to pivot into an adjacent field. So, percentage of graduates that find jobs within 6 months of graduation, um, like I said, there's only a few that I know of that have not been able to find that job post our program within a few months.
It's
Am I
also
missing?
Yeah,
hard data to gather. When we send out a survey, a 50% response rate is is killer. So I think any program that tells you with certainty what the rate is, like, I don't know how they get those numbers. We try hard to gather the data, but we can't get it if people don't offer it.
Okay.
But
David,
the
I
I
just
students keep
want to
track
add.
of, they're doing well.
mhm. David, I see a bunch of your comments in here. I think yours is a great example of make a follow-up meeting with Michelle and discuss through that specific situation. On any of Michelle's emails, which you should have gotten a reminder even for today's, at the bottom there, it says book an appointment. You can click on that link and you can book an appointment right away. You don't even have to email Michelle, just book it and it will pop up.
Okay.
We did get a question about being out of school for a decade. Is that going to be a problem? Guess what? That's what I did too when I came back. It's not a problem, and it's actually we kind of have a typical student for each degree, and the biotech track tends to be I was out of school for 4 years or a decade, and I came back. Generally, you're a great candidate for the program.
Mhm. Any other questions?
What kind of classes do you guys have that would maybe gear towards, oh, sorry, what am I trying to say? Med device development, companion diagnostics. Do you
Mhm.
guys have courses that are maybe specifically towards those career goals?
Great question. Oh, Michelle looks like she has the answer. Okay, go for it.
We do have some classes that are geared that way. Because we're running 4 separate degrees, it's hard for me to pull all that info straight off the top of my head. But if you send me an email, I can send you a list. I mean, I could send you a list of all the classes our students have taken in the last 5 years, and you could just go straight down that list and see what looks appealing to you out of like the biotech classes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so just send me an email if you have more specifics, or go through the catalog at the U of U. We mentioned academic ownership as one of the values of this program. And what that means is if you come in and you say, hey, students usually take, these 6 STEM classes, but here are 2 classes that look really important to the career path I've laid out for myself and my goals, and I really want to take these 2 graduate level classes, we can almost always approve those if they meet the program requirements. We feel really strongly that if you find a class that fits perfectly with your professional goals, we want to make sure that you've got the opportunity to take it.
I see that Samson asked any scholarships for international students. Let us say it again. We do not have the any stipends or scholarships for any students. So we do not have TA, so that's teaching assistants. We don't have research assistants. We don't have graduate assistants. That is going to be, if that is what you are looking for, if you really are dependent on an assistantship, this is where a traditional research pathway would be best advised for you to look towards. So that's going to be in our biology department, chemistry department, school of computing, and trying to find the researchers that have funding to support students, whether you're domestic or international, for those scholarships there. Unfortunately, this is not that program. And where we do have one-offs, every now and then we have little pots of uh, scholarships or funding. It is not regular and it's not something that we advertise. It's usually just a random hit here or there. So unfortunately, no, we do not have any funding.
Say maybe you're getting this sense already through this conversation, but we don't get paid on commission. And I really feel strongly like this is a great program and I love having students in it and I want this program to succeed and I want it, I like the students in this program. So I'm going to tell you that it's great. But if we have a conversation and you're saying, well, but I'm really interested in this and I haven't taken these classes yet, I might start suggesting other programs on campus for you because it really is important to me that you have all the information. I'm not going to give a super hard sell if you're like, well, I haven't taken chemistry, but I want to do this program because I'm interested in environmental science and I want to learn about public policy. I might push you toward public policy or talk about, have you looked at the environmental law program at the U of U? If it's not the right fit for you, I'm totally open to having that conversation. So if you're like, I don't want to set up a meeting with Michelle, she's just going to be a salesperson for this program. Um, I don't get paid on commission. That's all I can say.
We want students in this program that understand this program. We want you to be successful, and we want the outcome to be a professional career that you are striving for. And that's not going to be for every student, maybe even on this call. So we're really trying to find those that this is a good match for, and we're not going to try to push you one way or the other.
I have a question about the professional project.
Yeah.
Does it have to be with sponsors that you guys have like on a list or something, or could it be like through your current
Oh,
employer?
yeah. Absolutely. Great question. So your professional experience project, our one requirement is that it is a non-academic sponsor, meaning that we don't want you to join a lab group and work towards um, data that they're putting towards a publication for their specific research. And I will caveat that I just said that, and in some specific cases, we've had a couple students that are like, no, I really, really want to do this. And then we work with the researcher that way. Okay, so there's the I just said it and now I like retracted that. Most of our students, I would say 95% of our students get their professional experience industry sponsor either with their current employer. So, for instance, this is very common for our biotech students. We have a lot that come from ARUP, bioMérieux, Recursion. Um, they work within their own companies. And our caveat there is that we want you to do a project that you wouldn't otherwise get paid to do. So it's not part of your day-to-day duties. This is a great opportunity. Let's say you're on the lab bench and you want to pivot to maybe project management or go more in the managerial route. The project, even within your own company, gives you the opportunity to prove into your own company that you have the skill sets to go ahead and pursue that path. So absolutely, if you can do a project within your own company, for most, that is the most convenient and it provides you opportunities for promotion. So absolutely. If you do not have that, um, if your employer one, you don't want to continue at your own company, so maybe you want to get a different experience, that's where we come in. And we do have a lot of connections. We have some internship programs that we've set up with alums, and we have a lot of contacts with our alums and also industries around here. What we ask is that you start having that conversation early on with us to try to articulate what your professional outcomes are so that we can help find the best industry mentor match. So yes, you can work within your own company, you can work with outside of your company, you can try a whole new sector and see how that feels. Um, and I think that's it. We have people do their projects for nonprofits, private, federal agency, um, state agencies, startup companies, big, conglomerate companies. We have people have done projects remotely for companies across the country. So it really is just how can we make the most of that opportunity for you? Great question. Other questions? Oh, we're at time. I see this. Wow. Okay. We can stay on for a couple extra minutes if anyone has a last question that they would like to ask. Otherwise, truly, if you have specific questions, please follow up with Michelle. She's your person. Otherwise, thank you everyone for hanging on for this whole session today. And we hope you have a great end of your week. So thank you so much.